Well, it's been a couple years since I did anything on catenary, so I figure I'd give you an update. Right now, I'm hanging wire over Avery Yard, so all this cross bands are in. Up to the bridge. I gotta finish the scenery from there down to the engine facility before I can do anything else. But right now I just want to get the wire up. I'm just tired of looking at it. Just want to get it done. One of the biggest issues I've had was trying to figure out how do I drop electrics when you come in here with the wire up, because you really can't reach in on doing a coupler. So I found a trick I got to use from a guy out in Switzerland who has micro miniature motors that are on couplers. So hopefully that will solve the problem. I have them, I just got to install them and configure a decoder to make it work. But anyway, getting back to this. The little Joe where it's sitting is basically my wire guide. This, as I mentioned before, is the wire car, the caboose. As you can see right now, it's set, the screws set the height of the wire, so it's clamped in place. The other alligator clip on the end is where the splice would be. So then this piece that's laying down in the gauge here, which is track 3, the tracks we got, this is the odd track 1, 2, 3. This piece is laying in the gauge right here next to the caboose. Once I have it finished, we'll get stuck up on top of that screw and get clamped together by that alligator club. And then these are where your cross hangers go. And your vertical point of the wire, much like it is right here. That's where your cross hanger goes. And then it hangs it off the wire here. So when you're setting wire, you need an electric to set it to gauge. So where the Joe's sitting right now, the wire car would be up at this span right here. So the screws would be on each side of this span supporting the wire. These hangers I install as I go. So with the wire just free hanging here, supported by the wire car the next span up, this hanger that I'll have installed, I'll bring the Joe up to this, and then you'll see as you're putting it up there where this wire is riding on the pan. You want it to be about where it is right now, center of shoe, and then you slide the wire back and forth. This will be right as this is under, it'll be vertical, it'll be up against this, so you just slide it back and forth to where you want it to go, put a little flux on it, and then a couple pops of solder, and it's in place. You have to make sure everything before you do that is super clean. This is steel, and steel gets rusty, and it does not like to solder, even if you use as much flux as you want. That's that part. Now, as we're going on the next track, like I said, we're doing track 3. Where the caboose is, you have one span, this is the second span, this is our third span, actually fourth span, right here. Get some back up so you can see it. There's our fourth span here. Those are all straight. Now, this is where it starts to curve to the next span. So our fifth span, between the fourth and fifth, we have a curve. Our curve starts. As you can see here, I'll try to zoom in on it. There's a splice. That's where I had to shorten the catenary to make it fit the curve, so that the end point, which is right here, will reach up and get this. So what you do is you solder your straight sections, and then for me would be the 4 sections that were straight. Add the 5th section, mark where it needs to, this distance it needs to go back, cut it, solder it, add another full section to this span right here, and do the same thing. There's a splice. The splice for this one's right there. And the easiest way to do this is you line everything up in the gauge, and then with this, I'm using the scale rule. Your scale rule, so where the scale rule is to the hanger wires above, and to where the hanger wire will go in the catenary. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. And that doesn't have to be 100% exact because you do have some flex in your wires up top. And there's the current section. Now, if you look, you can see at the end of where that I had the thing, I have a, I gotta find it here. There. I have a mark with a Sharpie from the end of the wire, the vertical section at the end, to where that mark is 8 scale feet. I don't want to cut it there. You can see right here, from that vertical right there to that mark is 8 feet. So what you do is you cut it off till you end up with a piece like this. So there's the end, and I cut it off till it's flush with that. Now on this piece here, yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's where that will, oh my goodness, it's hard to do this off the tripod. So bear with me, everybody. But you want to basically, here we go with the basic word again. Yeah. This is where I want to, this is cut off up there. So basically, it would be cut off right, this one would be cut off right where this vertical is. It would be cut off there, filed off, and then you come back and reattach it here. So you overlap these two and solder them together. You got to be precise. If not, you're going to be doing a lot of filing or grinding to get this flush. Otherwise, the pan's got to ride on this, so it's got to be perfectly smooth. Like right here, this has to be smooth all the way around. So you do that one. So once that's cut and re-spliced, put this whole section back in there, re-establish your points or all your hangers. After you've done that, you add another section onto this, making sure your overlaps stay the same, because you want to zigzag them. To this span, you repeat the process. Repeat the process at this span. Repeat the process at this span. And these don't have the wires on them yet, but you'll repeat the process at this one. Now eventually we're coming into a switch, and then when I get to this point I'll show you guys how you tie everything together and how you do crossovers and stuff. One of the other things I want to show you is that's where the next pole is going to be. Make sure you don't put all the junk on your railroad. It's not a table, which is why I do all that stuff. See, I get all this crap sitting on everything, but it becomes a great table. That's where your next pole is going to be. So an easy way to do this is take a big hammer and pound it in there. Now remember, you're going to have all your scenery done when you do this, so if you're pounding with a hammer, there goes all your beautiful scenery, because everything flies off. The easiest way to do it is this critter, and there's your pole. Now you put her in the hole, Light her up. And we set it in there. Put you down for a minute. You guys are going to go sideways. There's a pole. No hammering involved. The dozers are for a rec train I'm making. I figured there's a nice video of them hiring dozers on flat cars. So, but the next thing is like you paint everything. So this is my paint of choice. Can I get on the camera so you can see it? So, I don't know if you can read that. It's brushable seasoned wood by True Color. That's what I use for the poles. Alright, I think that's enough for today. As I go a little further along, I'll show you how to hang it.